Good morning everybody, my name's Dave, thanks for joining me. This is part 2 of the starter motor video, and I have a bit of good news and a bit of bad news. First of all, it's a lovely morning but it's cold, so I've got my jumper on, I'm ready to go. The bad news is, the fault is the starter motor, I've got to change the starter motor. The good news is, we found one in a box. So this is the starter motor. I've undone the solenoid here just to give you a bit of an example, but in here is the Bendix I was talking about, and this comes out on a, when the solenoid pulls back, that pulls out and spins slightly as it turns, as it comes out. That engages with the flywheel, that gear wheel there, and then once that engages with the flywheel, those two contacts make, and then you get power to your motor and it turns. Once your engine starts and it's going faster than the starter motor, it spins that gear wheel out again, disconnecting this, and the spring inside then returns it back to normal because you've let go of the key. There's no power to the solenoid. So I'm going to give this a bit of a clean. I'm going to give it a bit of a lubrication. What you mustn't do is put too much lubrication on this gear wheel, because if it sticks you're going to have problems. Alright. So the first job is switch your cars around. I've got to get Rob's car out of the way, I've got to get the Commodore out, then I've got to put my car in backwards. I just said I'm going to take the Commodore out, move Rob's car, put my car in backwards, but then I just had this little thought. Senior moment, can't start the car. I'm going to have a go anyway, see if I can get it going. If I can get it going, I'll move the car in. If I can't, I'll have to do it here. But what do you know? Started straight up. That just shows you there's a bit of a problem there, but I'm going to reverse it into the garage. Okay, so what's the plan of attack? Plan of attack is sort out the starter motor I've got spare, take my starter motor out. Now the plan of attack for that is to remove the dipstick, because it apparently gives you easier access. I'll jack the car up a bit so I can get underneath, and then we should be able to get in and get the starter motor out. Apparently the hard part is getting it out through the gap, but once I've done that we should be good. So I'm just going to get on with it, and when I say an interesting bit, I'll come back to you. Okay. Let me just get myself sorted. So I've got the starter motor off. I've got a couple of bolts out here for the solenoid. I probably won't take the solenoid apart, to be honest. I don't really see the need to do that, but what I might do is lubricate things up a little bit. So I'll put this back on. I'll line this up. There we go. Now strangely, they're 8mm bolts. I don't know why, but they're 8mm. Now you can see, this is your ignition wire. When you turn your key, this energizes this solenoid. The solenoid then moves backwards, and then the contact disc connects to these. Yeah, so your power comes in here. This is your starter motor power. So the power's in here. You short them out by the contact disc inside. It then powers your starter motor. That's how it works. Yeah. Okay. Just as long as you're aware of how it works. So what we're going to do is I'm going to degrease this a bit, because it's a bit greasy and oily. Give it a clean up, and then we'll take it from there. I'm hoping this degreaser will work all right. I'll leave that to work for a bit. We want to make it as clean and as so I hope this foam works. I bought a few tins of it, so let's hope it does. Well, it certainly looks like it's taking the grease off. I've got a couple of cloths here, so we'll keep the blue one for wiping down, and we'll use this one for cleaning off, see what we get. Well, it's certainly taking the grease off, that's for certain. I might need another application, but it certainly seems to be working. That's for sure. A bit messy though. I mean, I don't need to degrease this right down. I just need to take the I just want to take the surface oil off because it's been on an engine that's been a bit oily and an oil leak. I just wanted to clean it up, make sure it was all good. And we'll get all the crap off it anyway. So it's nice and clean when it goes in. At least we'll have something clean. I'll spray some electrical contact cleaner on that just to make sure that's cleaned up. Now I'm not polishing this up or anything, I'm just cleaning it. I'm just getting rid of the excess oil, grease and dirt and grime that's on there from its previous installation. We think that this came off Rob's black Jackaroo, which he put on its side in a mud puddle. The history there is when he put it on its side, and then he stole my alternator, so I ended up with his old alternator. So I put new bearings in it because I knew it had been in a mud puddle, and it was fine. It was running absolutely fine until the day I went for my roadworthy. I'm sat in the middle of the road waiting to turn right into my roadworthy. There's a car coming the other way, and the alternator seized. New bearings and everything. We managed to have. We had another alternator anyway, but I got one from JLEC. Rob gave me a bit of money towards it and stuff, and. Well, I've actually got a JLEC alternator in there now. I didn't have it first. So Super Cheap got me an alternator. But what they didn't do was get the best one, which is about typical. Of course, I went through a mud puddle and swamped it with mud, and it failed. So I took it back. I said, this alternator's failed. The company were messing them about. So off their own back, Super Cheap said to me, we're going to get you a different alternator, a more expensive one, you won't have to pay anything more. And they got me a JLEC one. So I was happy with that outcome. Now you can see that's moving a lot easier already now. As long as this motor will turn, which it feels like it does, it's good. So you can see what happens when it flies out, it turns like this. That just ensures that it fits in, gets into the flywheel gears correctly. As you're looking at it here, the important area is in there. So I just want to make sure it's clean. A new tin of brake cleaner wouldn't go amiss, I don't think. I'll go get one in a sec. I thought I was doing well buying these from Bunnings. They're a bit cheaper, but they don't empty before they run out of steam. The other alternative is to take these screws out. I could do that and have a look under there, see what it's like. Thought those were long screws, but they're not. I suspect it's just going to take the cover off, if anything. I suspect it's not going to do anything at all. Right, okay, I'll put them back. I'm going to get some better brake cleaner. Do these screws are wiped down, put some grease on them, put them back in. Probably put a bit of copper coat on them. That's probably the best thing to do. Now, there's two schools of thought with this stuff. One is, don't put it on because it increases your torque settings when you torque things down. It makes them spurious. Personally, I don't agree with that. It might do that, but I don't care. I'm more interested in getting the boat out next time I go in there. So it irritates the hell out of me when I see people not putting anything on them at all and just sticking them back in dry. But for my mind, I want to know I can get them out again. So I'm putting copper coat on regardless. So I'm going to lubricate that once it's dried off. but not with copper coat, because the last thing you need to do with this gear wheel is make it sticky, because it has to be able to fly out. So you lightly grease it and that's it. So I'm going to use a bit of this silicone lubricant down there and on the wheel itself. We'll just put a bit on the other side. The other alternative would be silicone grease, nice and light. So I'm going to spray a little bit onto the just a light coating onto the gear wheel, very light. As long as that's free to turn, we're all good to go. So it could be that my starter motor has got a problem with, it could have dried up, it could be sticking in here, it could be not engaging properly, it could be doing any of those things. So the best thing to do is to have a look at it when I get it off, and we may need to strip it down and look at the contacts in here, because the contacts disc in there may be the problem. But I reckon that's ready to go. Good to go. We'll just take this, will it come off that? Oh, it's screwed on. And get the plastic cover off, we'll get it off. Or if I can get through that. Because I need to make sure it's tight, so I'll have to get it off anyway. There we go. There's two reasons why I want to take this off. One is I want to make sure it's clean and there's good contact, and the other one is I want to make sure it's tight before I put it on. Now I will say, this is not the problem with my starter motor, because the solenoid is making contact. So this is electrical contact cleaner. And this is what you use to clean your electrical contacts. Because it'll be non-conductive, I guess. You would expect anyway. It will take grease off. So as you can see, that needs a good clean. Give that a clean in there. It looks pretty good in there actually. But this needs a clean. Anyway, we'll inspect that when we get it off, and we'll change it if we need to. I'm going to put this back on now. Now you've got to be careful, because the screw that holds this on comes with a lock washer, so don't lose your lock washer or it won't lock on. It'll probably come loose again. Sometimes you wonder why you take things apart and then you realise that you stuffed it up. Okay, the hard part was getting it through the hole. Once it's through the hole, we should be able to get this on. The problem is now it's through the hole, I can't get it on. So we're looking good. All we've got to do now is get the old one off. I might want to fix that too. See that there breaking that? We might fix that. Put a bit of lube tape around it. Hold them back. Hello everybody. Just letting you know that I had to go out and get some bits and pieces. My battery terminals came. These are the battery terminals I got from Amazon. They'll do the job really nice, because you've got the 3 extra additional connectors on them, so I'll fit them in a little bit. But to get the bottom of the dipstick tube off, so I went out and bought a short ratchet. So I've had a bit of a side step. Bought this little kit in Total Tools that'll do the job. So okay, glasses on, gloves on, because it's going to be a pretty dirty job this. Try and keep my hands a bit cleaner. And let's see how we get on. Now I think it's 12mm So hopefully there's a 12mm socket in here. I don't know if there is actually. Oh yeah. I only think it's 12mm though, that's the problem. I've got to check. There's not a lot of room up here, I'll tell you. Not a lot of space at all. To me, even with this short wrench, it's still hard to get in there. I might have to remove this just to give me a bit of access. It's going to be fun. That's about 17mm. Right, we can test the new gun. This is the first time I've used this in anger. I think there's a nut on the back, which I might have to undo. It's got all grotty in it. That's one. Probably a good idea this is coming apart, looking at the crap that's coming out of it. Now we'll slow this down, I think. To the slowest setting. It's quite heavy, mine. Who knows what's going to fall out of this when I undo it when it comes off. I didn't want to take it off anyway. Looks like I'll have to get a pry bar. We'll use my biggest pry bar. Well, there's something I was missing. Fallen off in the past. That'll get a good jet washing in a bit. So that's one of my rocker cover mounts that I dropped. Well, we know where that went. Anything else falling off? Loads of crap. Loads of mud. And not much else. Alright, so that's the biggest bar done. We'll give it all a clean up in a bit. Let's get this dipstick tube out. Hopefully we can get in there now. The new socket's all dirty. There's a torch. There's a bit more access now. Only a little bit, but there is a bit. Oh, Rob said, oh, just take the dipstick off. Take your 5 minutes. Yeah, right. You know what, it'd be a lot easier without that oil filtering away, but I'm not taking that off. If I was doing an oil change, that might work, but I'm not doing an oil change, so that's not going to work. Oh my God, I'm going to have to clean that out. Look at all the crap in there, put it in there. That's what you get for going through with puddles and stuff, I guess. Right, so what I just did there, I just sprayed the hose I tightened up earlier on, just to make sure I know it's not leaking anymore. I'm not getting very far with this starter motor at all. I wonder if I tried to do it without them doing the dipstick. Right, let's go and have a look at least. At least I can have a look at it. There's the starter motor right there. There's one of the bolts. I can get to that. It's right. Oh, actually, you know what? I think it's the bloody... It's the gearbox dipstick, not the... Yes. Well, I can get that off. It just pushes in there. It's probably got an O-ring in it. Right, let's do that. I'll take that off. Right. It's not the dipstick, it's the gearbox dipstick you've got to remove. That's a lot easier to do than the other one. You just take it off up here. And there's the bolt. Now if that's loose, it will pull apart here. There's a joint there, and I should be able to just drop that out of the way. I don't need to get it right out of the way, I just need to move it out of the way. And then there's probably an O-ring in there. I might need to tap it up with a hammer, we'll see. And then I should be able to get into the 2 bolts on the starter motor then. And then I only need to get rid of the connections after that. Given that I'm going to put a new pair of battery terminals on, I'm going to disconnect the batteries. I think it's just going to be a bit safer. They're pretty heavy duty leads on those starter motor. I hate to chop them out. I'm not replacing this earth one, but I am replacing this earth one. You can see where I've separated the dipstick there. You can see that separate up there. Can you see that? Maybe not. Let's move you forward a bit and back a bit. So that's where the dipstick is separated. There's an O-ring on there. I might have to renew that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get up to these nuts and bolts here, and 16 looks too small too. So it's bigger than 16. So I've brought both 17 and 19, so we'll see how we go with that. I think they're the same size as these, and they appear to be 17, so let's have a try. See if we can get in there. I don't know if we will. And it's going to be tight with this. No, that's not going to get in. I'm going to need a wibbly wobbly, as Raymond Ray would say. I need to take that dipstick out as well, so I'll go do that. I think it might go up there. Might need a bit longer, but we might get it up there. I need an increase adapter. Let's hope this works. I've had to put a different extension on. It might be long enough. Right, there's a problem. Ugga Dugga isn't strong enough. Oh, that's good. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Where's my socket gone? I lost the socket. The socket came down here somewhere. But where'd he go? Nobody knows. Jesus, it's tight. That's some full chat, 300 newton meters. Nothing, not even moved. Holy crap. How am I going to get that undone? God, I can't even see the top one. Oh, there it is up there. How the hell are you supposed to get into that? How the hell am I going to get in there to get a nut off there? I suppose you can get in from the front. Long extension on. Might do it. I would have been quicker taking the engine out. Well, I wouldn't, but it feels that way at the moment. Alright, let's see if I can get this on there. Right, I've got that on. Now then, can I? Yes, I can move it a bit. I can't move it much. You know what? I'm tightening it up. I could be tightening it up there. Let's try the other way. I might have been tightening it up. That'd be just typical, wouldn't it? I can't shift it, but I'm sure I can shift it with this.
Oh, my glove's broken now. Just what I need. Just as I can't get in there to get another one. Sometimes everything's just against you. Maybe I need another 17 mil. I'll go get a glove and another 17. It's coming loose. Gee, it's loose. Now I've got to hold it steady with this manner while I take the nut off. Got it. Right, bolt number 1 is off. That didn't take much doing. Right, that's the easy one. Now the other one. How am I going to get the other one off? Oh, it's going to be a problem. Oh, it's that there. Oh, it's the top of the dipstick tube. That's all right. So, how do you get to the other one? It's a damn good question, that, isn't it? Damn good question, well presented. Maybe you get in from the wheel arch. Alright, so you can see in there, you can see the starter motor and you can see the bolt. Somehow we've got to get that bolt out of there. Can you see the bolt in there? It's you see that plate with a hole in it? It's just behind that. You might not see it from there. You might see it just under that plate with a hole in it. Well, I've been at this since about 9:30 this morning, 10 o'clock, and I've had a break, I know, to go to the store, but I still haven't got the starter motor out. I can't get the top bolt undone. Try as I might, tried everything I can, I just can't get access to it and get it off. I don't know what I'm going to do. I've got to come up with some sort of a plan, but I'll have to improvise and see what I can do. Alright, so I've tried and I've tried and I've tried and I've tried, and I cannot get this top bolt off. So I've called Rob and he's going to go to his house, do a bit of work, and then I'll be home and we're going to do it then. So it looks like we're working into the night a little bit tonight, but anyway, it is what it is, so I shall see you when I come back. Okay, so I didn't record any more information because I couldn't get the files off the camera quick enough, and Rob came home and we got straight on with it. So what happened was Rob managed to get the top bolt out really easily. He's done it before and made me look like an idiot, but anyway, that's not hard. And then we got the other starter motor in and running and tested it, and it's working. So all that's left to do with the car now is to clean the cross member, put it back on, refit the 2 dipstick tubes and the vacuum pipes associated with that, and then we're pretty much sorted. I came home from work tonight, I was too tired, so I'll have a go at it tomorrow or maybe on Sunday. But either way, it'll be back on the road by then, and we'll see how we go.